Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia, Stephanie, and Dianne Solano show. Today, we are with the energy entrepreneur. Welcome, Dianne.
Thank you, Kornelia. Love being here this month, especially. We've got a very exciting topic today to chat about. I'm excited for all the listeners coming on board.
I'm totally stoked about what you put together for the show today because let me tell the audience what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about love in business and shifting the paradigm. Leading with love can be one of the most powerful and effective business tools. I mean, really, and we're just really learning how to do that. I mean, really learning how to do that. How can we bring love into business? And how can we learn how to create deeper connections, purpose, and joy, which will expand in all areas of our life? Develop love into the equation of your business and create a better financial landscape for everyone involved. That's what you're bringing to the show today, Dianne. I'm so glad that we're going to be talking about this because we're talking about shifting a paradigm.
That's exactly it. And here's what I realized now that I've grown my entrepreneur muscles over the last 20 years. I feel very blessed. My sister was a very strong entrepreneur. We had a very successful business. I say we because I was involved with her at a very early age. And then she had this magic to her. We had staff that lasted 15 years. It wasn't a high turnover rate. Customers, clients came out and they just felt this connection to the business. She led with love. She led with honoring people's humanity. And I feel blessed that I had that role modeling that I too incorporated it into my business model. And within the company, I mean, we're breaking records. We have teams that have this incredible culture, incredible connection. Love today in business is the new way to operate because the world is changing. And what used to be the old paradigm was very, very masculine. Men dominated the business landscape. I mean, that's just the way things went for a while. And that left side, that left brain basically was dominating in businesses and organizations for years. And what's happening now is that the world is hungry for more. The need for connection to touch the human spirit. We're starting to realize now, thanks to technology, people can really come out and share. And those that lead with the heart, those that come with their genuine gifts, naturally start to have incredible results overall, not only in the financial department, but also in their staff, in their teams, in the way the culture gets played. And this creates a beautiful ripple effect of abundance. Love is the absolute highest vibration. And we are all human beings, and we have to really learn to honor that humanity. So it is one of the most powerful tools right now in business. And it goes over and beyond, we're not talking about romantic love. We're talking about love for the self, love for the art that you do, love for the role that you're playing, love for your staff, your team, your vendors, like who are you bringing on to your business model, your clients, your customers, your patients, all of that, every single piece of your business model, if you just take the time to nurture it and send it loving vibrations, think of a way where you can honor that particular department, role model it, create that culture, you're going to have incredible outcomes in your business. And it being the month of February, I mean, this is the month where, we're starting to see commercially, it's all about love, but it goes over and beyond the romantic landscape. It's about starting with yourself and then letting that ripple out into all areas of your life. But business right now is one of the places that, we really have to be okay and start changing that, leading more with that kind of feminine, nurturing vibration where we're starting to have that dance between the left and right brain. I think that's one of the most powerful things. And we're seeing that in our particular business model for sure.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, because we all have the masculine and feminine within. And so I just want to say that too, that even, even if you're a man, that leading with love is absolutely still part of this new earth paradigm because it's a frequency. the feminine frequency, the feminine compassion, the feminine leadership, the empathy, the willingness, the creativity, right? And to know that, even to have the intention, like if every business, had the intention, the model is to lead with love, that right there would already just do so much. It would just do so much. I was thinking about this when I was thinking about our show today, and I was reminded of when you and I did the last show. Zach, our producer, when you and I finished the show, you and I were going to stay on for a little while, and I was telling Zach, I'll see you later, right? And it was funny because it just naturally came out of my mouth. I naturally just said, "Love you." I just naturally, that's what I need. It's like it just that, "Oh, love you," right? It just came out, and it's like this is the kind of stuff when you're leading with love, when that is the game, that is the game. These kinds of things, spontaneous love yous could come out.
And they're perfectly healthy. It's really about the energy. You're not being creepy, you're not crossing boundaries. You're just saying, hey, I honor your humanity. I appreciate you. And I love you. See you later. That's okay. I mean, we got to be okay with that. Why do
We
we have to
do.
be so cold and distant, right? That
Yes.
doesn't work anymore.
Yes, and isn't that fun? Isn't that fun to be able to do that, to be able to not have, these kinds of barriers where we have to be so, like you said, cold, walls up, proper, where we're not really expressing our humanity to the fullest capacity.
And that's exactly it. See, where we were honoring and we were really looking at people as individuals, listening to what it is that they want, listening to what it is that they're struggling through, just really listening and honoring that person, that individual. And in that process, you create more respect. In that process, you create more integration. There's better communication. There's confidence because when people feel like, wow, again, it could be any area of your business, it could be anyone. If there's a human being involved and you're honoring their humanity and you're listening to them and you're smiling and you're just like really leading from a space of heart, then they feel like, wow, I'm honored. I feel like I can trust. My confidence goes up, and then all of a sudden you have a win win scenario. Win win where both parties are happy, whether it's an employee, relationship, a team relationship. It's about being a servant leader, being there to be very clear about having a mission. Whether your mission is being the most incredible artist, whether your mission is being the best salesperson, the biggest CEO, being servant leadership is actually someone that leads with humility, humanity, has a vision, but is in the trenches with their team and their organization. And it's irrelevant of the business model, but that model I found has created such a fertile ground where you have people joining forces with your vision and your passion because they honor you in return. So you don't have the turnover in staff, you don't have the turnover in employees, you have less conflict, you create a culture, and that all is led by example. And it's a ripple effect that goes over and beyond just your organization. Now you're inspiring people. And what happens, vendors come back and do business with you, they're happy to do that. Employees, have a moment, but they don't want to leave because they're filled with joy being around a space that honors who they are and has a listening ear. And then what happens is you create that culture and you attract like-minded people.
What you're talking about, this is exactly one of the reasons why so many people feel unhappy in their jobs because they're not getting it. They're experiencing everything the opposite of what you're talking about.
Yes, and I see that now, especially in the line work that I do. I get a lot of almost orphans from other companies, organizations where they don't feel acknowledged, and a lot of them come around and they stick around because they feel like there's a space for them. We're human beings, we're led by the heart. This is what touches our soul. This is how we vibrate. It's our highest frequency from a frequency vibration. And we want to be able to lead with that in business. And if you can do that, and companies now are getting more aware of that potential and that need, And we're seeing incredible results with performance. We're seeing incredible results with connection. We're seeing incredible results in sales. We're seeing even what you attract, all these opportunities, places, people, things start coming your way because you're vibrating something very, very specific, which is love, connection, honesty, humanity, integrity, and all those really important tools to kind of get the ball rolling to create a very strong foundation for your organization. And then somehow the magic shows up. That is what energy is about. It's about creating a vortex where you attract all the right people, players, team players, staff, vendors. It just comes your way because you're creating that vortex of possibility, because you are that frequency. Like attracts like. We're like radio stations. We've talked about this on other shows, where we are a vibrational frequency, and we will attract what we want, what we need in our businesses. And if we love what we do, oh, watch out. When you love what you do and you have a team behind you, it is game over.
And what you're talking about is you're talking about being that magnet. So you're the magnet that is putting out all these fantastic vibrations, these fantastic frequencies, and you're sending out all this amazing energy through just your beingness, but then also with the way that you relate to life, to your staff, to people in community, and all of this. You're magnetizing this, and so you're going to magnetize more and more and more of those kinds of experiences to you, because that's who you're being, by simply making the choice first to lead with love.
100%. And the science is real. This is not hokey pokey. Oh, they're just talking about this like tree hugging hippie concept. No, I'm talking science. I'm talking the frequency. The science is proving it now today. We know that we are vibration. All our cells, 100 trillion of them every day, we have a specific frequency to them. The science has proven that now. And that's the reason why I'm so passionate about this. And that's the reason why I feel like we're getting the results that we're getting. We're turning heads. People are really looking at our organization going, what is going on? What is happening in Toronto and Canada? And we're rippling in other parts of the world. We got Mexico vibrating. I have a wonderful leader out there. She is all quantum. She's into love. She's honors. She's over and beyond, the average five senses. She doesn't live on a 3D plane, and she is rock solid and amazing.
Wow, that's so exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. But definitely, it's wonderful when you are surrounded by people that are vibrating and that are, passionate about leading with love. And this is how we're creating our new earth. This is how we're creating and putting down a footprint that we feel good about. This is the example that we're setting, and putting a footprint down so that we can leave a legacy that we're actually proud of creating. Proud of
Exactly.
creating. Yeah. Dianne, let's take a break. And when we come back, we will continue on talking about leading in love and business. Okay.
Perfect.
We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, Dianne Solano, orthomolecular nutritionist here. Guess what? I have the most amazing fun product. Calling all you coffee drinkers out there and tea drinkers, I have found an incredible product that is changing people's lives. It's guilt-free coffee. Any of you deal with guilty coffee when you're drinking your everyday brands? Well, guess what? I found this beautiful coffee. It's superfood infused coffee and teas that you can drink every day that's actually changing people's health. Those that are drinking it in my client base are actually feeling more energy, better sleep, better mental focus, better hormone balance. The list goes on and on and on. And for years, I've been telling everyone that bodies never lie. They are extremely honest. So just switch out what you currently drink and see how it tastes and how it makes you feel. My favorite thing about this particular product, it's not only changing people's lives, improving upon health, but it's also bringing consciousness around the world. Why? Because this coffee, not only is it great for pH neutrality, not only does it not give you the caffeine jitters or that gut rot that you might feel with your regular coffee, but every single sachet, by the way, that you use of the beautiful coffee that you just open up, put it in your mug, and infuse with hot water is also being recycled back for a program called Bags for Life. That's exactly it. Guilt-free coffee, conscious coffee is actually now contributing to the world's lives of many women around the world, because these guys get recycled and they get sent to underprivileged women in third world countries to create something called Bags for Life, which we auction off, and now we create opportunity for others. Not only that, but we've partnered with a company called IBM, which most of you probably know about, on a program called Food Trust. And that is now allowing organic farmers to thrive. We're going to find out where all our coffee and teas get sourced, who is along the supply chain, if you want to tip a beautiful farmer in another country. So fair trade, fair opportunity goes right along the channel. So your call to action is give it a shot. If you are a coffee drinker, trade out what you currently drink. Try this instead. I promise you, you're going to love it. And if you do, you're welcome to continue drinking it with every sip, not only bettering your body physiology, but you're changing the world one cup, one sip at a time. Now, here's the best thing. If you really, really love the product, you can also partner with us. And whichever way you want to go, you want to be able to start with a product that you absolutely love and are congruent with. So go to newbodynewlife.myorganogold.com, order your box, replace what you currently drink, let your body tell you how it tastes and how it makes you feel. If you want to partner with us, you're more than welcome to do so. No partnership is too big or too small. If you're a single mom like me, this could absolutely change the world and leave your imprint into the community. If you are a large organization and you want to see how you can partner with us to distribute this and help other people have this beautiful impact, not only for themselves, but for their family, come on out, connect with us, DianneSolano.com, send me your questions, send me your email, and we'll change the world one cup at a time.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking about shifting our paradigm and putting love into the equation, putting love into business and leading with love. And so right now, Dianne, you're going to share with us some strategies and techniques of how we can begin to do that, right?
100%. So, like I said early in the show, we've had a lot of success in our organization. And actually, in my previous years of business, where, like Tony Robbins says, unconscious competence. I was doing something that was really nailing it. And then as I matured and learned a little more about the whole business model, I was like, okay, now I understand why our performance was so high, sky high. So I get a lot of individuals and different corporates and companies and CEOs and other entrepreneurs that I meet that are like, okay, so what is it that you do? So here are some techniques that, really, if you take a look back at your business model, look at what areas you can start incorporating some of these little things that go miles and miles and miles ahead. Because love is really the basic human need. Every single person on this earth wants to feel valued. They want to feel loved. They want to feel acknowledged. And they just want to be recognized with their humanity. And one of the areas that we love to do is something called recognition, right? We recognize performance. People, if you recognize, they will work harder for recognition than they will for financial gain. I've seen that time and time again. And you know what? That even goes into parenting and any other relationship, right? Instead of telling my son what he's not doing right, I always applaud and celebrate what he is doing right. And you can do that in your business model. Recognition for your staff, your team, anybody else that you do co-business with, whether it's verbal recognition, take a moment to say, hey, you know what? I really appreciate it when you asked me that, or I really appreciated that you sent me that package express, or I really appreciated that you took the time to close the room and pack up things nicely. Whatever it is, if there's a positive, verbal recognition is a big one. We also like to post things on our group in Facebook. We have a Facebook community. Communities are big, some place where you can share positiveness in your organization. We're clear about our culture is creating something that is always thriving to be positive, no negative talk. It's okay to ask for help, it's okay to be vulnerable, but nothing negative. And that recognition, we put recognition, whether it's a banner or a certain pin level that they reach, we put that in our Facebook groups. And that recognition can even come in a social media platform. It can come in a company newsletter if that's what you have. It could be, some sort of performance that happens every month. Recognition is so, so powerful, Kornelia. It is absolutely goes over and beyond. We also are big on motivation. So motivation is your second tool. You lead with love when you motivate. Hey guys, you know what? Let's all get together and let's have this one, action we want to do for the month of February or for the month of March or some for the spring, or, you know, I'm right now doing a motivational team event where we're going to drive more sales and more contact and more humanity by creating something called socials, where we go in and we share our products with people with love, coming from a space of love, coming from a space of human connection. Because when you establish that, you establish a relationship which can translate into sales because the trust is built. And I think if you're feeling authentic about whatever line of work you do, then you can start creating that culture, and then we motivate. So I created a campaign called Winter Mixer Madness, right, where we meet with anybody who feels motivated to want to be part of that. And it's called inclusion, you know, having something that can be inclusive, that gets everyone excited. It's a high vibration. Also, again, going back to the techniques, third one would be creating culture, which kind of ties into that recognition, motivation. If the leader has a certain vibration, the CEO has a certain vibration, the entrepreneur, owner, business owner has a certain vibration, that leaks into the rest of the team, right? Whatever the team looks like. So creating a culture, for example, one of our cultures that I do is a non-scarcity mindset. I refuse to have somebody come in and feel like there isn't enough. And if they feel that way, let's talk about that. What's coming up for you? You know, what kind of subconscious programming are you having? There's 6 million people in our city alone. Do you know how many human beings are on this earth? And today with technology, there is no scarcity. There is no such thing as being too late or being too whatever. You know, there is something for everyone. If we're all about frequency, we attract the right people, the customers, the sales. We will attract that if we lead with authenticity and love. Another big one is, you know, establishing like a very collaborative mindset where, you know, if I'm having a certain challenge, or maybe there's an initiative I'm putting together, I will actually sit down with some of my other leaders and I'll pick their brains. Guys, what do you think about this? Here's what I'm thinking. Here's where my thoughts are going. I'm open to feedback. You know, I'm all about the team and the collaborative mind as opposed to the ego. It's all about me. I made the decision. That's the way things go. You shut down people so fast when you just decide to lead with that I need to be right, egocentric landscape. And again, you know, being that servant leader is about listening, because you'd be surprised who can come forth on your team, in your employee set, in your whatever structure you have. Everyone has an interesting brain and a new perception. Because sometimes when you're not playing all the different angles in your business, you know, a person who may be in charge of packaging, a person that might be in charge of marketing, can come back with some really awesome ideas, and having that kind of collaborative teamwork, I think, is huge. And one that also is not talked about a lot in business is leading with your intuition. It's funny because I've had other, you know, team players in the organization that are very much high up, and sometimes they'll present something to me. Dianne, do you think, you know, maybe this project, you know, should be shut down, for example? And I'll actually sit there and I'll be like, I just don't feel that's right. Something's coming up for me because I can feel intuitively I'm being led with a space of wisdom. And when you connect with love, remember, it's your highest frequency, you're actually opening up that ability to listen within, that ability to connect with your intuition, because you're actually going somewhere deeper, both in your psychology, both in your brainwave patterns. You start to connect to a higher frequency that actually starts to generate information in different ways. And this is a tool we've kind of forgotten about or maybe left out in business models. Now it's amazing how I'll sit with something and I'll actually get up in the morning going, you know, that event that we're doing next weekend or in 3 weeks, here's what I'm feeling needs to happen, or here's what I feel needs to shift. And usually I'm right. And it's not because I'm being right, it's because I'm leading with, you know, that sense of intuition, that sense of love, that sense of listening, going, okay, what needs to be shifted, what needs to be moved, what needs to be kind of pulled along. So those are some really great tools that you can start to implement in business for leading with a very loving landscape. And again, it's just about honoring every player at every time and being in the trenches with your team or your organization or whatever business model you have. It's the same thing. If there's a human being involved, there's a person that wants to be acknowledged. There's a person that wants to be honored. There's a person that wants to be just inspired and motivated. And then once you have that foundation, you're going to get the most referrals. You're going to get the most loyalty.
you're going to get most incredible collaborative efforts, and you're going to go have people that's going to perform over and beyond what you expect. And that to me just makes my heart sing, and I can feel everyone else's heart singing. And that to me is a delicious life, because there's nothing worse, Kornelia, than doing a business, working in a job, whatever the model is, where you just feel like you're not happy and you're waiting for the days to go by to kind of have that free weekend. That is not a way to live life. You want to be able, I mean, work is most of our livelihood. What if you did something that was just so fun and so inspiring? You had connection in your organizations. You don't need much more destruction in your world after that, because it's being fed to you daily.
Yeah, you gave so many fantastic examples and so many wonderful tips. I mean, the whole piece about the being valued, being appreciated, that's huge. It's really huge, because people are starving for that. They really are starving for getting that appreciation, that what they're contributing has value. And so um, there's so much that we can do when we do that, by honoring each other for our unique gifts that we bring. I mean, when we think about it, when you were talking, I was thinking, when you were talking about the ego, it's not about the ego. And I thought, no, it's not about the ego, it's about echo. It's about the ecosystem, that what we're doing. It's not about the ecosystem, it's about the ecosystem. And when you're thinking about it, the reality and the truth is, we're one being, and we're all sparks of that one being, and each of our unique essence has unique gifts that are here to contribute to the whole. And if we include each person as a contributor to something that is going to add value to the whole, that's going to make such a huge difference, right? Isn't that what you're talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Ultimately, we go back to the energy entrepreneur. Why? Because we are energy. Whether we apply it in business, it's our livelihood. We create every reality in our life, good or bad. We have an electromagnetic frequency. I know I'm getting a little science here, but it's so real. I mean, that's my background, right? My background was in health and wellness. I became a brain recovery specialist in functional medicine. I started doing a lot of work with a lot of big, heavy weights in transformation and in quantum healing, quantum science. And as I learned more, I started to get hungrier and hungrier about this reality that we are creating for ourselves. And when I learned more about the science, I realized, wow, if we could apply this in all areas of our life, how much more enriched would we live? And if business and the business world or the employee world or whatever role that you're playing, it doesn't matter. If you can step into a space where you're having the time of your life, like, sure, there's going to be stressful moments, and sure, there's going to be moments where there's conflict, but conflict resolution goes by so much smoother, when there's a love base to be built upon. And everyone else is operating at a different frequency. So we know for sure that when you start operating in a different frequency, you're going to start attracting different circumstances, people's, individuals, opportunities, things in your life. And in the business world, it's no different whatsoever. So that's what I really was passionate about, was like, hey, if we became more conscious about everyone that we interact with, and how can we lead with love, in the sense that making sure everyone along the supply chain is winning, right? So, again, every business model is going to be different, but I'll maybe give an example of mine. We actually source some of our products from different, organic farmers from around the world. Well, now in today's day and age with technology, human beings are now asking for more from corporations and companies. And what if we were able to supply a product, a service that had everybody along the supply chain in mind, where it was a win-win for everyone involved? So, if your business model involves painting, what kind of paint are your supplier providing you? And are they taking acknowledgement of the global imprint? Is there toxic load that you're probably bringing into people's bodies or on the environment? So these are the little questions you should start asking yourself. If you're an entrepreneur, you work for a company, find out about all the players involved, and is it really looking at all the parts of our world,
of all the vendors that are in between, all the suppliers in between? Is everyone being taken care of? You know, and that's one of the models that I thought was really powerful, was that, hey, if we could take care of our farmers and really kind of promote organic farming, and they got paid really, really well, would they not be happier? And would it not motivate maybe another organic farmer to think about, hey, maybe joining or, you know, teaming up with a company that could recognize their hard work and also take care of the environment and also take care of their personal health? You know, when you start thinking about where do you buy your fruits and vegetables from, or maybe you have, you know, a food production company, you know, where are you sourcing your food? Where are you sourcing your things from? You know, what kind of people and environment are involved in that initiative? I think it's very powerful. That global imprint is huge, and the environmental one is no different. So, you know, we have a recycling program, and maybe, you know, hey, maybe you run a beautiful office and you have a coffee station. Well, where are you getting the cups from? Or can you use reusable cups? Or if you're using, you know, disposable plates, you know, can you think of ways that you can maybe start incorporating more, less of a global imprint? Because leading with love means also taking care of Mother Nature, taking care of people's health and body physiology. I mean, our body is so incredibly powerful. I'll be surprised. We'll never be able to match the magic of a body. You know, our technology has gotten really awesome, but you cannot compare that to the intelligence of a single cell. And that's why I became so passionate in health and wellness, was because when I started to study the human body, I was in awe of this force that is leading all of us. You think 100 trillion cells was just made like that robotically? There is a higher intelligence behind that. And that higher intelligence leads with love. It's the highest vibration. And when you can dial into that highest intelligence, all parts of your world starts to thrive. So if you can tie in that higher intelligence in your business model, you create that global ripple effect. And if you take a look at that intelligence and go, wow, how can I take care of that intelligence in the animal kingdom and in the plant kingdom? And how can I reduce that global imprint? Well, now you're vibrating in that frequency. So bring that into your business. Sit down and look at all the areas, you know, whether it's the lunchroom, whether it's the paper you use, whether it's the pens you buy. What is it? What is it that you can just start making little changes? Because this whole concept is to inspire people to say, hey, what can I do to make the little changes to rediscover my business model? And where can I get excited about this too? You got to feel it, right? You got to get excited about whatever craft it is that you're doing, and look at your business model and say, hey, how can I make this more exciting? How can I feel like I'm leading with passion, purpose, and also influence, you know, also that servant leadership? And I'll tell you, you're going to have so much more fun. You are going to have so much more fun in doing what you love to do.
Well, Dianne, you are talking about love, you're talking about business, you're talking about consciousness. So, you know, when you're talking about what plates are we using, what pens are we using, what are we using, that's really asking the energy entrepreneur to get really conscious of, you know, their impact, the impact that we have, and as we're moving forward, leading with love. And we're talking about leading with love, we're talking about leading with unconditional love. And that is right, that is still yet another higher form of love, not conditional, but unconditional love. And how can we move forward with our evolution? Because that is our forward moving path, is leading with unconditional love. And the company that you so well love and represent is Organo. So for those listeners that don't know anything about Organo, talk to us a little bit about Conscious Coffee and Organo, for those people that are just tuning in for the first time listening to you talk about the energy entrepreneur and the love that you so freely share with everyone.
Absolutely. So, you know, my background is in nutrition, orthomolecular medicine. I love, 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 love getting people feeling healthy, stronger, bigger, faster, stronger. And, you know, I came to a crossroad in my life where I really needed to make some income because I was trading time for money and I was getting burnt out. So as much as I was helping people, I wasn't helping myself if I couldn't leverage my time and I couldn't leverage my impact. And I had no idea what that would look like. And it wasn't until I approached my mentor, who's a very renowned global expert in health and wellness, Dr. Rakowski, and he actually introduced me to a company called Organo. They create one of the most delicious coffees that I know globally in the world. I call it conscious coffee because the company decided to put a superfood in it. And putting that superfood in the coffee, oh my gosh, all of a sudden people's world started to change, because every time they took their habit that they never wanted to give up, every sip that they took, they started to feel very different on it. There's a great documentary right now, Kornelia, that's playing in Toronto. It's called Fantastic Fungi. It's so powerful. I really urge every listener on this call to watch that documentary. It's done by famous TED Talk expert, world-class expert in medicinal mushrooms, which is Paul Stamets. And it's going to rock your world, how medicinal mushrooms are software upgrades to the body.
Where can we watch the video?
Right now it's playing in theaters in Toronto, all over the city, but just Google Fantastic Fungi. It might be playing in a city theater near you. Well worth it. Mind blowing on all the science behind medicinal mushrooms, not only in human health, but also in the global cleanup project. They're known to save, bees. Bees right now were under some terrible, terrible virus bacteria that the populations were dying. And bees, by the way, are very important for global health, for our planet. Yeah. And what they found, the research, was that these bees were actually flying into the forest and extracting some of the medicinal mushroom that's actually in these beverages from reishi. And they were actually curing themselves. The little bees were getting rid of this bacteria. Reishi is known as an antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. It helps the immune system in a very powerful way. So in this documentary, they'll talk about medicinal mushrooms and the way they're applying them to cancer treatments and autoimmunity, and the documentary is just powerful. And what happens is that, dead forests, dead decomposing animals, what happens is you get mushrooms and fungi actually sprouting from that. Life is sprouted because it recollects all that beautiful stuff that earth gives us and starts cleaning up the earth, which is so powerful. Anyways, great documentary, such an eye-opener, and it's actually connected to consciousness, which is so cool. That's a whole other conversation. Nonetheless, I call it Conscious Coffee because it was a company that just took a superfood that right now is just, they're calling it the shroom boom. It's like the biggest growing area of health and wellness right now in medicinal mushrooms. They made it taste good. Every person that does their daily habit is physically feeling different. It is more cost effective than traditional coffee you'll buy on the street, which I loved. And even powerfully so, it was really contributing to human health. And that being said, we started to get some beautiful, beautiful responses. Now, the company also, like I said, they looked at the global initiative saying, okay, organic farmers, we have a recycling program that creates something called Bags for Life. So all our sachets are collected and they are recycled, and we send them to impoverished women in third world countries to create these beautiful bags that we actually auction off. And we auction them off, and that all the money goes back to women in other countries. We are growing globally. So right now we're leading different teams in third world countries. We have a team thriving in Africa. I know you've been part of that project too. So thank you for introducing me to Mr. Emmanuel from Liberia, because now we're looking to see how we can help communities in Africa that don't have access to healthcare, that don't have access to opportunity. Women especially that maybe are under circumstances that just doesn't really honor their lives and their potential. What if we can provide an extra $100, $200, $300 for women in these countries? It'll change generations. It'll open up the doors of possibility. And that to me excites me. So, working with the team, and that's what we do, is we provide a better beverage. It doesn't mean people stop drinking the coffee. I'm just asking them to upgrade it. And we're calling it Conscious Coffee because yes, it's opening up consciousness in the body. It's helping cells. It's helping global imprints. It's starting to now leak into another way of viewing the world. And ultimately, it's just really about upgrading a daily habit people do anyways. So that's been a lot of fun. And that kind of started sparking the whole, hey, how wouldn't it be delicious if every person in every organization could start really looking at the little things they can do to kind of make a world a better place and have fun in the process doing it and be on passion and purpose for whatever it is that art format that they're doing. And for me, it's really about spreading the power of self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, health and wellness. That to me is the foundation for a really powerful life.
The whole thing is just a really beautiful fit. Do you want to give us the link for the website where people can go and learn more about it?
Absolutely. So the website is newbodynewhealth.myorganogold.com.
And they can go there and they can try it. I usually tell people, look, if you're going to drink the product, drink it exclusively, because you want that medicinal mushroom to really go into your body cells and feel a difference on it. And, every person's going to be different. So, some people feel it on 1 cup, some people feel it 3 days later, some people feel it a week later. Just drink it exclusively. Don't drink anything else. And you tell me or let us know how it tastes and how it makes you feel. That's usually the call to action. If you want to be part of our global growth, you want to be part of that initiative, you are, looking for an opportunity, or you have a company that you think you want to bring this into the office, happy to chat with you on that. You can go to diannesolano.com. That's my website. You'll see YouTube videos on different formats of health, and we do have a segment there on the product line as well. So you can send questions and answers either to myself or even through Kornelia. I mean, I know we have this Transformation Talk Radio is another areas, and we post them all over social media. So very easy to get a hold of us. But that's usually the call to action, is drink it exclusively. You're going to save money. You're going to get a little healthier or a lot healthier. I don't know. Everybody's very different. It's nutrition in a cup. And let us know what it does for you. And then from there, it's a world of possibilities, absolute world of possibilities.
And really, truly, I can attest to it, because I changed my coffee habit when Dianne first introduced me to Organo. I was a coffee snob, and I didn't want to give up I was a Starbucks person, and I didn't want to give it up. But I noticed right away, after 3 days of drinking the coffee, that the acid in my stomach, everything started shifting. And I like to do intermittent fasting. And so I could drink my cup of coffee in the morning and fast without feeling like the acid in my stomach is burning my stomach, so that I would need to eat something to calm the acid down. So that has all changed. And saving money is what it's all about. It's about really simplifying, and again, looking at that organic footprint that you want to leave behind and making those conscious choices. It's all part of the love evolution, leading in business, leading love, with love in business, and making your coffee conscious. I mean, it's perfect. I'm excited to see where all this is going to go. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening and tuning in. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about love in business. We've been talking about having recognition and giving recognition for the work that we do, and how we support each other. And I just want to tell you, Dianne, how proud I am of you, of what you're doing, not just for the show here, for all of us here, what you're doing in the world, what you're doing for Organo, the work that you're doing as a mom, just the human being that you are, how dedicated and how committed you are to being a beautiful role model, including calling it for financial freedom, is that you don't have any reserves, that withholding back, to you want to be financially free, and you want to play large, because you understand that when you have financial freedom, that you have greater capacity to give, to offer resources, and to do greater things. And that takes a lot of courage, as out in the field. We were talking about it in break. People hold back, they feel bad asking for money.
And I saw that for years. I lived it actually myself. I remember starting off in my field of nutrition, health, and wellness. Every time I see a client or a patient, when I started working with other practitioners in other offices, I noticed the same thing. It was like, I'm afraid to ask for too much, even though I know they need this much. And you start deciding for the client instead of knowing what you're offering is true value. And what I realized was that your reflection, how you feel about finances, so most of us sometimes impose that on our clients or on our patients or whatever model you have. And it wasn't until I had to work through going a little deeper, saying, okay, what's coming up for me? and it got really loud and really clear, just like Tony Robbins says, you don't change under extreme pain, you change under extreme pain or extreme pleasure. For me, the pain came when I was facing a new life being a single mom, and I realized that I didn't have the resources. I didn't want to trade time for money. I wanted a delicious life with my son. I wanted time freedom, location freedom. I wanted financial freedom. And I should not be afraid to claim that. And somehow I've come across many years of individuals that, especially in the healing arts, whether you're a practitioner or you're a Reiki master or whatever, the healing arts, I'm seeing a lot of, because we're so compassionate and we drive with our hearts, we're afraid, or there's this guilt about charging what we deserve, what we think is fair, claiming we want to actually make money. It's like I hear this, oh, I just want to help. I just want to help. It's almost an indirect way of saying I feel guilty for asking for money. I feel guilty about saying, yes, I want to be financially independent and free and strong. And it wasn't until I just started to accept that, I started to walk into those shoes. I started working with the subconscious imprinting, because money really is about vibration. You got to look about, what messages did you get raised on with money? There's a lot of subconscious programming that comes around money. And I love how Grant Cardone, crazy billionaire, I know he's really out there, but sometimes I like sifting through some very, very, I guess, well-established people in certain areas that I'm trying to learn more about. And remember, he said, you don't make money, you connect to money. And money really is a reflection, it's a vibration, it's a frequency. So speaking on the topic of love and abundance, love and financial freedom, they go hand in hand. They're not separate. But somehow I see this guilt. I have seen this guilt and I still continue to see it, especially for me. It's been my experience with people in the healing arts. I don't know what it is, but if the love is there, if the foundation's there, if you're already in a powerful position to help others, then start claiming you want abundance, because the world is there to support you and bring you to that, especially if you're offering value. I cannot stress as much. If you're offering value, if you're leading with love, if people feel like you care, your referral rates will go up. But you got to be certain and strong about what it is the fair exchange is. Money is just an exchange. People are going to spend it anyways. They're going to spend it on things they don't need, or they're going to spend it on things that they love. But people will spend money where they find value. And if you're offering value, you will attract the right customers, the right patients, the right, vendors, whatever it is, that's going to see what you have as an exchange. So it's okay to claim that.
Yeah. Dianne, can I offer to the audience today to a challenge? Can I offer a challenge to the audience? And that's to you too. And that is, from this day forward, from this moment forward, as an energy entrepreneur, you know about energy. And so let's define guilt. So, because I heard you talk a lot about guilt. And so guilt, if we really define it, what it is guilt is an old program, a religious program that has been conditioned upon us, based on our conditioning, that we should feel guilty if we have pleasure, that we should feel guilty if we have a healthy selfishness going on. We should feel guilty if we're doing something that's good for us. So in my coaching practice and in my physical reality construct, a long time ago, I said, I do not do guilt. Guilt is a useless, absolutely useless feeling that I never want my physical temple to feel, because I only want my body to feel feelings that I endorse. And guilt is not one of the feelings I endorse. As a matter of fact, guilt is not even an emotion. It's not an emotion. It is a construct, a reality construct, a program that has been, told to us that we should feel guilty. And so I'm inviting everyone here today to 100% let go of guilt, because I always tell my clients and everybody that if you feel guilty, do it anyway. If you feel like you don't want to do something because you may feel guilty, then do it anyway, because that's an experience that you want to have. And it's a place where you really want to be able to put yourself first. And remember that you get to choose what feelings you have in your physical body, if what feeling that you want to feel. And guilt shouldn't be a feeling to feel.
I love it. You nailed it, Cornelia. No more guilt. And us women, somehow, we've been extra programmed for that guilt. Are you kidding me? We got to claim back everything that makes us feel joyful and happy. And you're right, guilt is a useless emotion. Let's
Yep.
get rid of that. Let's all challenge ourselves. No more guilt.
Yeah. So let go of guilt, release that from your vocabulary. I don't do guilt. I don't. So when somebody says to me, you must feel guilty. No, I don't. I don't do guilt. It's not something that's part of my reality, as I don't struggle. I don't struggle either, because as an energy entrepreneur, why would I want to struggle with energy? I don't want to go into a struggle. A struggle is not something, it's not a word in my vocabulary, because we have to be so conscious of our echo environment, right? And being responsible with energy, the footprint that we put out there, leading with love. um, Struggle, guilt, that's not that's not something that I want to do. So I invite everyone to release it. We've got 1 minute. We want to be able to tell you again to go to check out Dianne Solano at her website, diannesolano.com, or you can check her out on Facebook, Instant Messenger. If you want to find out more about Organo, you can go to New Body, New Life at myorganogold.com, and you can find out more about the coffee challenge. So, a couple final words, Dianne.
Yes. Lead with love. Your business will thrive, your world will thrive, and ultimately you're going to open up so many doors of possibility and transformation. I'm excited. Buckle up, but do it. Take a look at your business model and make it happen.
See you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time.
Hi, my name is Janet Hickox, and I want to tell you a little story about a story, and how my friend Kornelia Stephanie helped me through to the other end of that story. I have gone from the dark of a story I was telling myself that wasn't true to the light of optimism to see my way out of where I was and to where I want to go. And it all started with her scheduling a session for me to help me reclaim my money or my financial empowerment. Up until that point, I had been telling the story that my business was dying, that my business was not successful anymore. And the more I tried to figure out what was going on, the worse I felt about it. And when I had to get ready to do the session with Kornelia, she asked me to go look at the numbers and where I was through the year to date, and then also to come prepared with a number that I wanted to raise my income to. Well, I was quite comfortable with that part, right? I knew where I wanted to be. What I wasn't comfortable with doing is going and looking up those numbers, but I made myself do it, even though I tried to backpedal my way out of the session. She didn't know that, but I was going to try to get myself out of the session. And I looked up those numbers, and it was incredible that I discovered through that process that my business wasn't dying. In fact, I was doing 12% better than I had the year before. So I was shocked. I was shocked literally at the power of the story that I had been telling for months. But more than that, I was shocked that I had allowed myself to get there. And later in that day when I had my session with Kornelia, she pointed out some very obvious things, like, how are you going to get where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go? How are you going to get there if you don't have the goals written out, if you don't have it set up so that you know where you are and where you're going to go? Totally makes sense, right? I had been in business, somebody else's business, as a sales manager for years, and I was a national sales manager. I had awards for sales management. I had business awards because of numbers. And yet when it came to doing my own business, I totally forgot all that I'd ever learned. So by the time Kornelia, working with me in just one session, got me to look deeper at the numbers and where did I want to go, and actually, claiming where I wanted to go, I was filled with a sense of optimism and hope like you can't believe. It was like everything shifted for me. And I am so looking forward to our continued sessions to see how far I can really push myself to get where I've only dreamed of being, where I've never taken the dream and actually brought it into concrete existence. So thank you, Kornelia, for the work that you're doing out there. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see where I go from here.